Hey guys, this is Manshark Sub LPs. I'm Sub, this is Europa Universalis IV, and this is episode 14 of the AI's playthrough of our converted game. Let's get it going. So, we're basically kicking off just where we left off, which is refreshing. Scotland is up. Brandenburg is getting, Brandenburg is whacking Brunswick around down here and getting whacked around up here. Vladimir appears to have, well, it's lost land to France, but it's also still got this huge chunk of Russia. Ming have recovered, somewhat. I'm just still amazed by how big Afghanistan have managed to get themselves. Oh, who's Canada in? Canada are in a personal union under Afghanistan and have been for the past 4 years. Their independence is supported by Turkestan, which probably means if the Afghan ruler dies, which he's not looking to do anytime soon, well, first of all, she doesn't have a legal heir, and she's a motherfucking Littlefinger. Hang on. Canada is ruled by a Littlefinger. That shouldn't have happened. How the hell did that happen? I expressly remember that when we were in Crusader Kings, we were trying to make sure that nobody else was a Littlefinger in the area. The only Littlefingers would be in the HRE. They are certainly not in the HRE. That's what I want. Yeah. Bizarre. Some rebellion issues in Persia. So, if the Afghan queen dies without an heir, which, hey, she might do. I mean, you know, she's 20. People die at 20. Then there is quite the chance for France to take Afghanistan and Canada. Also, Valencia is apparently ruled by a Littlefinger. Yeah, it certainly is. And Valencia also have a personal union over someone, I think I saw. No, they have vassals. Bourbon is a vassal. So hey, things are looking alright. I mean, French succession is pretty swell, as it were. Nope, some Mongol patriots in Ming. Oh dear. Okay, so now that Egypt and Arabia have land in India, they will now be going for the Spice Isles, which could be interesting. Looks like the colonialism game, the European colonizers have finally made it over here. So we'll see if they get down here. While Ming continues, it's frankly quite awesome expansion into Siberia. Hey, you know what? I'm impressed. Anyway, back to why you're all really here, and that's for the Shadowrun stuff. This episode will be going up on the Sunday after next game. I still don't have a plan for next game. I'll work that out over the course of a week. Even if it's something as simple as just throwing together a very basic structure, like if they want to do something, then they will have to go somewhere where there will be like X guys of professional rating free, and so on from there. It's actually pretty easy to stat out a Shadowrun mission if you don't have to worry about Matrix stuff. And I won't have to worry about Matrix stuff because Absentee is a hacker who is considering re-rolling anyway. Mississippi is a colony. Nice. Yeah, so I'm not going to have to worry too much about Matrix side of things because nobody else can hack. So, yeah, don't have to stat out some of that shit and can just whack down guys with professional ratings. And all that means is when I need to make a test of one of these guys, I just roll double the rating. So, professional rating of 3, I'm rolling 6 dice. For everything. It's really simple. Really easy to do on the fly as well, because you can sort of say, okay, so professional rating 1 are like gangers, professional rating 2, you know, maybe beat cops, professional rating 3, you're getting up to the sort of mercenary sort of stuff. And, you know, you go all the way up to 6, which is Spec Ops. I'm obviously not throwing them up against Spec Ops, unless they do something really fucking stupid, which, hey, let's not disregard that possibility. Could definitely happen. It's just not a plan for it. France seems to have integrated Hum. Yeah, and their other vassals, so now they've just got Capure. They are going on the catch and integrate sort of scheme, which is good. It's good. We're also at war with a lot of people. A lot of them are just colonies, but the Champagnian reconquest of Champagne seems like a noble goal. Get to it, lads. And hey, look, 100 prestige. Very small amount of uncontested cores. And of course the usual reduction due to decay, but yeah, wow. They're actually doing pretty good. They would, you can see there that because, hang on, they've just gotten some more uncontested cores popping up. God damn it, guys. That's because they, I don't know, did something. Previously, because the decay is under 5, they would have a resting point above 0. Which I guess is the important part there. German Quebec. Has that always been a... Maybe. German West Indies are still looking a bit shifty. Everywhere else seems to be pretty much fine though, even New Brabant. 57% there. Yep, still revolutionizing Persia. Let's see if they've done anything that I can detect. Not there. What we should be doing is looking at a province. No, just discontent. Alright. Revolutionary rebels are at the top of a regime which they regard as corrupt and deeply unjust. They believe in their cause and are led by disillusioned burghers and military officers. Okay then. Oh, the Philippines are really a mishmash of different colonizers. You've got Valencia in the south, Portugal in the middle, and Great Britain up to the north. So yeah, I don't know how the game would have gone. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to have them do. They have actually come up with some good ideas previously, which I can spin into a run, but It's nothing that will get the money. Oh, fuck me, I need a new drink. Like, new bit of caffeine or something. Diet Coke's my poison of choice in that regard. I will power through the next 20 minutes for this episode and see how we can go. So, you know, let's get right into it. Start discussing something about mission design. That always keeps me awake and makes you guys fall asleep, I guess. Right. Oh. The Aztecs got slammed by New Valencia. Like, really badly. Shit, guys, I'm sorry. Valencia's... Up here, what I'm checking is up here you can see the personality of one of the AI nations. So Valencia is... Their current ruler's personality is administrator, so they would look to improve their economy by any means, but they're less prone towards war unless it furthers trade interests, which I guess this one here did. I didn't think... Oh no, Brunei are our colonizers, and yeah, they're actually spreading down into Timor. Here's a different type of personality. So the Bengal kingdom is ruled by a diplomat in the Regency Council. So they seek out powerful friends and expand diplomatically, but only really go to war to get lost territory. Let's see if I can find a warlike one. Here we are. Militarist. The Oirat ruler is a militarist. They'll seek to expand aggressively at the expense of their neighbours and are far more likely to go to war. I think those are the three types. There is another type which is player. But that's pretty obvious in what it is, right? Yeah, maybe I should have done trade companies. Oh well, I mean, we'll look into that for our big blob playthrough, won't we? Wouldn't be too hard. Scotland's truce is expiring very shortly. It has literally just expired. So, we might see a little bit of movement by Great Britain against Scotland, who have absolutely no allies. I think the only way that Scotland might have been able to help themselves there is if they allied with France. They allied with France and maybe some other countries like Västergotland or Anglo, you know, continental countries, maybe Valencia. But as it is, without an ally, without any sort of comparable army, Scotland is fucked. Like, they'll last for maybe a few years. As soon as Great Britain decide to declare war on them, they're gone. So yeah, mission design. Let's think about mission design. It's not all that complicated. You've just got to kind of keep in mind when you're designing a mission that you don't want your players to know everything about what you're doing. I mean, knowing a little bit, sure, that's fine, not a problem there. But I mean, my players in particular have gotten a little bit annoyed by things happening that don't make sense. For example, in the last mission, where they were guarding the leopard, on the third day of them guarding the leopard, the character who was looking at the surveillance cameras in virtual reality, who was not the hacker character, is our Gunboy Street Sam Orc dude, because he's one of the only two members in the party with a direct neural interface which lets him enter VR. Technically he needs a sim module as well, but I think I waived that. Whatever. But yeah, so he was in the security node looking at the cameras, and I gave him a ton of perception checks, matrix perception checks, and he didn't succeed at them, and so he got attacked by it was an enemy hacker. At the point, you don't say you've been attacked by an enemy hacker. What I did was this little robot toaster dog basically showed up and started attacking him and damaging him, and he couldn't do anything except try to get out of a node. And he did that. He woke up the real hacker, and the real hacker tried to enter the node, hit a hey, you need a password screen, and gave up. Which wasn't the right thing to do, basically. But anyway, what I'm saying there is they were attacked by something. They weren't able to determine what it was, and so they made an assumption that the network, like the node that they were in, had suddenly, irrationally and arbitrarily turned on them and kicked them out of the system. They were wrong. And that assumption that they made, they then went on to say, hey, this doesn't make any sense in Shadowrun, this shouldn't be happening, etc, 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 etc. And you can see there how they've used incorrect information, assumed information, and then gotten annoyed. Oh, California. And gotten annoyed that that information. They've gotten annoyed at a result that they've determined has happened due to their assumed information. Whereas that's not what happened in any way, shape, or form. And it's a perception test would have been, if they studied the robot toaster dog in detail, they would have been able to determine that it was a hacker, not a program. But there was also some other evidence about that, because maybe one guy isn't too good at making perception checks, and I don't want one thing to be the failing point of anything. I like putting in a couple of different little things. So we have what we call node sculpting. Oh, the Oirats are hitting up Turkestan. Jesus, guys. Hitting them for anything in particular? Oh, and Persia. Yeah, they're just trying to take Turkestan. Oh, well, good on you. I mean, I hope you do well, Oirats. Out of Persia and Brunei. You got more of anybody other than Turkestan? Turkestan and Delhi. Well, Delhi is shit. They've managed to occupy one province in Persia, though. Wow, impressive. Still don't know what that means. Oh, that reminds me, Afghanistan, have you had children? Yeah, so she's had little Wolfhilda. Only as an average claim, but that's good enough to maintain the ties and all that sort of thing. Yeah, so node sculpting. See, when you have a wireless node on the matrix in Shadowrun, it's not just an empty room. It can be if you want it to be, but it is incredibly cheap and easy to do what they call sculpting, which is you make the virtual reality of the place look like what you want. And you can do anything. Anything with this. The only thing is that the node sculpting, it looks like France just actually absorbed Capua. Yeah, no vassals left. And at war for something. The Egyptian conquest of Palermo. Okay. But yeah, so the only thing that the node sculpting can't do is restrict people. It's pure flavor. Pure flavor. But say, you put the access point, or, you put a file that somebody's trying to access 20 meters in the air, and then say, oh, but you can't fly in here. It's like, well, no, that doesn't work. If people have access rights to that particular file, they can just summon it to, or they can fly up to it and get it. You know, whatever, they can just access it. It's no big deal. So the node sculpting for the compound that the guys were trying to, you know, keep the leopard safe in was a South American jungle, basically. You know, there were trees everywhere and all that sort of stuff. It didn't actually impede anybody, but, you know, it was flavor. It's a nice big South American jungle. The important things were located in, like, guerrilla camps. There was a native guide, like a native Latin guide, to sort of guide you around places if you weren't quite sure where you were going. You know, that sort of thing. And the guy even had this lovely little waterfall area for his daughter to play in. You know, it was cool. And when they first entered the node, I described it to them, and every time they entered the node, I described it to them. That, you know, you pop into this clearing, there's this guide there, you know, dense foliage all around. The guide asks you where you'd like to go. I would like to go to the security thing, alright? And you travel through... They tried to skip through most of it. This is another irritation of mine, that they complain that I don't describe everything in detail, so that they then go ahead to make assumptions, but then they try and skip through the description. Oh, the Yoruts took that chunk out of Turkestan that they were looking for. Nice, guys. Nice. Yeah, not doing too badly at all. Ming is at war with Japan and Aceh for... Nah, for a Korean conquest of Etchu. That's cool. Right, because they're now allied with Korea. Cool. Yeah, so I did that big description sort of thing, and, you know, they just sort of ignored it, and, oh, we want to go to the security thing. Oh, we just want to go to our cameras and look through them. Okay. But then when a robot... Okay, so one thing I should go into that with that. Anybody with a decent sense of sculpting sculpts the shit in the Matrix to all sort of have a theme. Like, your node would have a theme, so not only will the place look like a South American jungle, but the guide, for example, was a South American guide. Where things were guerrilla camps. If hostile programs, the intrusion countermeasures, were to show up, they were going to show up looking like guerrilla fighters. Like that sort of thing. And there was a tracer program sort of wandering around the place to, you know, look for intruders. And it looked like a panther. And, you know, that sort of shit. So when a robotic toaster dog, which is basically a toaster or a robot dog, which is its main body is like one of those old school toasters, shows up and starts attacking you, you should get that sense that, hey, this doesn't belong here. This doesn't belong here. It is probably an intruder. They didn't. They assumed it was a program on the node. And so when I tried to log in again and got the, hey, you need a password, they didn't assume it had been locked out by a hostile, well, like by an intruder. They assumed that the system itself had locked them out. And so for the next 2 days, my hacker got to play around in the system and fuck with them and fuck with all the systems and... I forget exactly where I was going with this, but... The point, I guess, is that if you make assumptions and don't get them clarified, I'm fine with people assuming things, but if you assume something, ask the GM. Clarify it with the GM. If he says, hey, you know, no way you could actually know that without doing this, consider how you would do this. But no, they never asked. If they did ask, I would have been all like, well, you know, I'd have given them 2 options. One would have been to observe the thing, try and break back in and observe something going on, presumably the toaster dog. Though he was so confident that after he created a backdoor for himself, he left. came back later during the actual fight, but, you know, that sort of thing. So, you know, you could have gone back in, they could have gone back in and observed, or, and this is the one, rolled some sort of software knowledge or matrix knowledge or something like that. There would have been a knowledge skill to cover it. If they don't have that knowledge skill, I guess you've got to go back in. But there are options. Mali has occupied this area of Cypriot. I'm somewhat confused by what the fuck they're doing. Nah, it's a Persian thing. Okay. France, who are you fighting? Arabia. Delhi, Bengal, and Cypriot. The Oirats are in on that as well, somehow. Oh, and Great Britain have taken part of India. We have Abenaki as a protectorate. Where the fuck is Abenaki? Oh. Okay. That's an interesting choice. Seriously, where the fuck are we? This one here. Really, I would have just sort of let them go and let Newfoundland take them. Newfoundland are, of course, back at war. The fourth Newfoundlandian conquest of Angava. Why do you keep failing? There's a supply limit of 15. You've got enough dudes to take it. They don't have armies. Oh wait, I have a supply limit of 15. Yeah, they are taking attrition. Oh no, that's just siege attrition. That's fine. But yeah, they don't really have armies that they can get to you. You shouldn't be failing at this. Oh well. I'm impressed by the fact that Castile has managed to basically just come over here to America and just re-establish itself, even though it has stopped existing over on the mainland. Count down the minutes until I can get that drink. Not quite time for lunch, unfortunately, so just a drink it'll be. Vladimir just took something up north. Cola. Good on him. Great Britain have other things to worry about than Scotland, though they've just done their truces, so could see some movement. We could see some movement. Tell you what, Afghanistan have really gotten themselves up. Not only do they lead that personal union of Canada, but we've got Tibet and Nepal as protectorates. And they're allied with France and Volga Bulgaria. That's actually quite surprising. They're allied with two of what I would consider the biggest countries. It's very impressive. Good work, Afghanistan. What's your, And they're administrators as well, so... Very intriguing. Trying not to get into any discussions because we're actually going to end the episode. So let's just give it a few more seconds just to tick it over that magic half-hour mark on my stopwatch. You know what? We've got less than a century left as well. I don't think we'll be able to wrap it up today in terms of recording, but it'll be kind of interesting. I am missing playing. Alright, let's pause that there and call that the end of this particular episode. So as usual, like, comment, subscribe. And I have been Sub. You have been yourselves. Later.